We're live.
We
We're
are
live,
live,
boys.
baby.
We're live, baby. Episode 25 of Hydro and Cove. We are here. B Rich K Dog Chase. Same crew back in the studio here to record another video. Bryce isn't going to be with us tonight, but we're gonna go right into it like we would any other episode. Week 18 has came and gone. We had some pretty meaningless games. I guess some meaningful games. The Texans fumbled the bag once again with the Bears securing the number one pick, and you see Lovie Smith get fired. Cliff Kingsbury gets fired. So we've seen some moves in Week 18, but we really want to focus on the playoffs for this episode. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to be talking about every single game, the storylines that we want to see, who we want to see come out on top, and maybe a little bit of a prediction of who our wild card winners are going to be. But primarily, we just want to talk about the storylines of each game, kind of give an in-depth analysis of what we think is going to happen. So, guys, to start us off, we have the Seahawks versus the 49ers in the NFC wildcard game. So, who wants to give their kind of their thought on what this game kind of means in the grand scheme of things?
Brock Purdy is going to come out
and absolutely freaking deal. He's thrown for 300 plus passing yards, 2 tutties, no interceptions. 49ers going to coast.
Okay. I think this is going to be a. So the line right now is sitting at San Francisco -10, right? I think that this is definitely the Geno Smith prove it game, because this is his contract, right? If he wins, he's getting a contract for at least a couple of years. He's going to get paid like a top 10 quarterback, right? So you can't just ignore that. And personally, Geno Smith isn't like in my top 10 as far as quarterbacks go. But if he gets this done, the Seattle Seahawks are going to have no choice other than to pay him. So it'll be interesting to see how he responds to that. Geno nor Brock Purdy have playoff experience, so you can't throw that out there for one and not the other. So it'll definitely be, in my opinion, it'll be closer than 10 points. I think it'll come down to the wire because it's a divisional game as well, and everybody plays everybody well when it comes to those types of games. So it'll be interesting to see which quarterback steps up and who folds under pressure.
Yeah. I would say, go ahead, Kendall.
I was actually kind of thinking the same thing as Chase. I was going to say this is pretty much Geno had a good first half of the season, especially. He had his games late in the season, but he didn't do as good the second half as he did the first half. So this is like, if he can go out, I'm sure we can all four agree that there's 2 top favorites in the NFC, and it's the Eagles and 49ers. So if he could go out and in the first round beat one of those 2 and beat the 49ers, especially a division rival of theirs, I agree with Chase. I think the Seahawks can have no choice but to pay him if he goes out and does it. I think the fact this is a divisional game will make it more competitive than some people might think it will be. I don't think the 49ers win by 10. I don't think they cover that, but I do think they will win. I think Christian McCaffrey has a good game. The Seahawks struggle to stop the run at times. I think Tariq Woolen can hold his own against Ayuk and if Debo plays. And Quandre Diggs behind them, so I don't think they'll give up many big plays unless it's the CMC in the screen game, run game. Kyle Shanahan likes to get him the ball in creative ways. But I expect kind of like a game that they played last time where the 49ers were kind of ahead by playing great defense, because that's what they do. And the Seahawks kind of fighting back towards the end but come up just a little bit short. I kind of expect a very, very similar game to what we saw a few weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. But I do have the 49ers winning.
I think for me personally, this comes down to matchups. Football's all about matchups. Any given week, any team can beat any other team. It's just about, what team A is good at and bad at versus the other one. And when it comes to the 49ers compared to the Seahawks are terrible against holding tight ends. They allow a lot of big games in their tight ends when they play them. They struggle, especially in coverage and with their linebackers, and that's a big reason why. They got Wosu, who's a really good linebacker in the box, but I'm taking George Kittle over him in pass coverage all day long. And I think the big thing with that is, every single week, Brock Purdy has gotten better and better, and that relationship with George Kittle has gotten better and better and better each week. And he's starting to find Kittle a lot more, and I think you see it a lot where rookie, first-year quarterbacks, even second-year quarterbacks a lot of the time, use their tight ends a lot more on average just because it's a fail-safe. It's easy to get quick routes up the seam and get quick little first reads with them. So I think they're going to hit Kittle early and often, and I think that's going to be hard for Seattle to stop. And if they start doubling Kittle with a safety, maybe bringing a safety down over the top, that's going to open up some things deep down the field. I think the number one thing with the 49ers that isn't failed to realize, but Brock Purdy's accuracy as a quarterback is what is making him so effective. He's a 60+% completion percentage guy as a rookie, which is surprising. He's a 71% completion percent passer in college. I mean, he's one of those guys that he's not turning the ball over. And if he can continue to not turn the ball over, there's no way the Seattle team's going to be able to outscore him just because of the 49ers defense. So, like y'all said, I got the 49ers in this game just because I just don't see them matching up well. I think Geno can play well enough in this game and lose and still earn a contract. But if he does win this game, you can't not sign him if he wins. Right. That would just be stupid.
Yeah,
I will say. Go ahead, Chase. Sorry.
Well, you kind of answered the question I was about to ask. Is like, do you think that even if they lose, does Geno still get a contract? And I mean, I don't know.
I think he does. I just think it's not going to be as much. I think he's your perfect bridge quarterback because you got that high pick from the Broncos. Use it. Maybe you want to win now with Geno, but if you're really looking long term, I would take that as a quarterback, and I would let Geno be a successful bridge quarterback. Kind of like how Jared Goff is in Detroit. He's been playing good football. They don't have a quarterback yet, but even if they do bring one in, Jared Goff is still going to be able to produce at a high enough level to where they don't have to immediately throw somebody into the fire.
What I was going to say is the 49ers, kind of like how you said the Seahawks don't match up well. That is true. That's very true. They don't match up well with them. The 49ers are they're that team that I feel like nobody wants to see because I don't think anybody really matches up well with them except for the Eagles, because the Eagles are the only team that's close to them or maybe even slightly better, as in loadedness. They're both loaded. They both have great rosters. So I think out of the NFC, in my mind, I see a collision course between the Eagles and 49ers for the NFC Championship. That's just my opinion.
Well, with that, I think that is a good point. We're going to hop on over to the AFC side. We got Jaguars versus Chargers. That's the second game on Saturday night. 7:15 game, late game, prime time. We got Justin Herbert. That Chargers team's been struggling all year, injury-wise. I don't know if y'all saw Rashawn Slater's 21-day practice window off the IR open today. Don't think he'll play on Saturday, just because he just did come off the IR, but I think that's a move that they're hoping that maybe divisional round they might have him back. But I do think, personally, that this is the Chargers' game to lose. But the Jacksonville Jaguars have proven time and time again that if you do not respect them and play them to a certain level, and if you play down to them, they will come out there and they can very well beat you any given week. Kendall knows from fantasy, they have the weapons. When they're on, they're on. So,
And when they're off, they're off.
They're very off, yeah. Trevor Lawrence's first playoff game after the horrendous season last year, so that's going to be super exciting to see Trevor Lawrence start to get some. This is valuable playoff experience for Jacksonville
and Herbert. This is Herbert's first playoff game.
I think if Jacksonville didn't make the playoffs this year, no one would have been mad. It's first season with a new head coach with Doug Peterson. They're still building their team up. They wouldn't have made the playoffs. No one would have thought a second thought about it. It would have been like, well, Tennessee, that's who people predicted initially to win it anyway. But now that they do get that playoff experience, I think that is going to prove beneficial later on down the line.
Right. The line currently sits at Chargers are favored by 1 point, but I guess to me, if it feels like one of those games where like Jacksonville is just going to be in control the whole game, and it's not going to be like a close game. It's not going to be a blowout, but it's going to be one of those games where like the score may be close, but like Jacksonville never like was worried. They were always in control of the game, and I think that's the feeling I get off of it, just because I feel like this is like a great matchup for the Jaguars. I mean, offensively, they're a great team. They have weapons everywhere. So as long as they're, like you said, as long as they're on, I don't see the Chargers beating them. And I mean, it could be like a 2-possession game when it's all said and done. But I think Trevor Lawrence is coming along. I know I shit on him earlier this year whenever I said I think he sucks, but as the season progressed, he became one of the better quarterbacks in the league. And I think that's a lot to do with Doug Peterson. He's great, and I've said this before. He's great at getting the most out of like the players he has in front of him, and I think that's what makes him a great coach. So it would not be surprising if the Jaguars end up winning by 2 possessions or more. But I mean that's that.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I've already done. Me and Logan talked about it today at work. We've already done like our full playoff predictions. So I think the Chargers win. I know this may seem surprising coming out of my mouth. I will be 100% rooting for the Jags. Don't get that twisted. I'm rooting for the Jaguars to win this game, and I hope they do. But I have a reason to why I picked the Chargers, which we'll get at later. Are we gonna do our full playoff predictions after this? Yeah.
If time permits, yeah, we'll be fine.
Okay, so I'll get to why later. But in this game specifically, I think why I'm picking the Chargers in this game is because they're getting Joey Bosa back. Their weapons have been on and off the field all year, which has caused Herbert to be inconsistent. I think with Keenan Allen finally on the field playing, I know Mike Williams is questionable, but in my mind, Keenan's still the clear-cut number one. He's Justin Herbert's go-to guy. Crucial moments, he's going to Keenan Allen. And they have Austin Eckler. And the Jags defense can struggle at times. So I think the Chargers just squeak out a win. I think this will be a very entertaining game to watch. I think it's going to be a shootout. And I hope the Jags win. But I'm picking the Chargers to win.
Gerald Everett is also a factor on the Chargers offense that could prove to be beneficial.
Yeah.
I think if the Jags show up, I think it's going to be a very, very good game. I mean, I like what you said, about how the Chargers' weapons have really been hurt all year, and they've not had them all at one time. I mean, they might not have Mike Williams, but I don't think it's really going to matter. Just like you said, Keenan's their go-to guy. I'm interested to see. I think the Chargers are going to win by a field goal. But I think it's going to be a very good game if Jacksonville shows up.
Yeah, I think this is going to be like one of the more entertaining games. At the end of the playoffs, I think we're going to look back at this game and be like, this was one of the more entertaining games to watch, because I think T-Law, Herbert, 2 young quarterbacks in their first playoff game with weapons on offense that are healthy. I think it just has all the makings of a shootout.
Yeah, and I will say I'm also taking the Chargers as well. It's hard for me to pick against Herbo, especially with Keenan back. But yeah, that's who I'm going to pick. Now we're moving on into the Sunday games. The Sunday morning game, or the noon o'clock game, which is it's funny. We'll talk about
noon o'clock.
Yeah, the noon o'clock. But the 12 o'clock window, sadly, is not where the Vikings are playing, but it is where the Bills and Dolphins are playing. Tua is still in concussion protocol, still not guaranteed to play. I think everyone in here would agree that it would not be even remotely pretty or close if Tua does not play. Now, saying that he does play, I will ask you guys a question on if Tua does play, do you think he's going to come out and be effective given the fact he has not really played in 3 weeks?
No.
I don't think it's going to be close anyway.
Yeah, I think
I don't think
with
so
or
either.
without Tua, this one is like the one game I'll look at and I can be like, this one won't be close. And I feel confident saying that. Like I've said before this year, if the Dolphins had anybody but Tua, I feel like this game would be a lot closer. I think Tua's a fraud. I feel like he doesn't have an NFL arm, and that will always hold him back. Plus, it seems like he had like the worst injury luck. It sucks. It happens, but I mean,
Yeah.
But I mean, this one, in my opinion, it won't be close, and I'd be shocked if it ended up being close.
Now, let me follow that up because I think we all kind of agree with Chase with what he just said on terms of what this game outcome will be. I don't think we even have to talk much more about the game outcome. I think it's a Bills victory by a pretty good margin either way. But, Kendall, Brandon, Chase, if you are the GM of the Miami Dolphins, during this offseason, are you considering not moving on from Tua, but what are you considering as an option, if any, at the quarterback position? Are you looking to draft somebody maybe to sit and, maybe like a Malik Willis situation where you drafted them with high upside and keep them there just in case? Or do you completely move in a different direction?
I think if they could somehow trade into the first round, because they don't have a first round pick because of either the Tyreek trade or the Bradley Chubb trade, one of the two.
I think it's the
If they could somehow trade back in and get like Will Levis to sit behind him and like push him, because he's a different style quarterback than Tua. He has just a cannon of an arm. He's kind of just a project. I think that could work. Or I could see them, if they're really dead set on wanting to move on from Tua, which I would call Green Bay and I'd offer them, because Green Bay might start rebuilding and they could use a younger quarterback. And I would say like Tua, maybe a player and a first round pick for Rodgers. And then if Rodgers is on the Dolphins, that team's ready to roll and ready to compete immediately.
Chase?
Yeah, that's definitely a win now move. And the only problem with that is I feel like you can't gamble your whole future for maybe 1 year, because I mean, who knows what might happen. So,
Right.
But I mean, Aaron Rodgers would have weapons though.
Yeah, it's kind of like a feeling thing. Like if you think Aaron Rodgers, if you trade for him, can give you 3 years because he's got 3 more years on his contract, then I'd say do it. If you think internally that he's only going to produce in the NFL for 1 more year, or he may retire in the offseason, then just don't even bother. Another person I could see is if Geno Smith, if the Seahawks decide not to do anything with him, I could see them bringing in Geno.
All right. Well, moving on from that game, we all got Bills, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
the Bills by a wide
Yeah.
margin.
If it's within 10, I will be very shocked.
Okay. Well, moving on to a game on the NFC side, we got Daniel Jones and the New York Football Giants versus Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. I think this is going to be an interesting game personally, because these are the most unpredictable two teams arguably in all of the playoffs. The Giants either play really well or they suck. And the Vikings have shown to be the most fluke, like back and forth, bad to good team in the NFC, honestly. So I don't really know who's going to win this game because it's going to be based on what teams show up. I can tell you this. I don't think Dalvin Cook is going to be much of a factor in this game. The Giants' run defense is very good. They do tend to put opposing running backs into a hard position because they fill in the holes really well. I think that it is the storyline should be Justin Jefferson versus Daniel Jones. Because the Giants don't really have that elite corner to put on Justin Jefferson. So I think that if the Vikings win, it will be because of Justin Jefferson. And if the Giants win, it's going to be because of Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think I've kind of messed around with the idea of it a little bit, especially towards Logan. I've kind of named this game the Battle of the Frauds because I think I ain't been on the Giants all year. That's pretty clear. I just don't think they're as good of a team as their record shows. Is pretty much what I think about the Giants. And then the Vikings, they either get blown out or they win by a field goal. There's no other outcome with the Vikings rather than they're either going to get shit on or win by a field goal. So I think with that being said, I know Kirk Cousins, it's the playoffs. There's only one game at a time per time slot, so the whole world's going to be watching Kirk. But I have the Vikings pulling this out by a field goal. I think it's going to be just a scrappy game, and it's going to come down to which quarterback, Kirk Cousins and Daniel Jones, puts their team in less harm's way. Like, who doesn't put their teams in harm's way, pretty much. And I agree with you. I think Dalvin Cook isn't going to have a great game. And I think this is really going to come down to, can Justin Jefferson consistently beat a double team? Is pretty much what this game is going to come down to.
Yeah. I'm taking the Giants on this one. I think this is going to be one of the more surprising games, and I don't think Justin Jefferson is going to be able to beat the double teams. As we've seen in the past season, if he's not able to run free and he's not able to do what he wants and he's not dictating the game, he gets shut down. He becomes a nobody. So I feel like that's what's going to happen. I feel like the Giants they're going to show up ready, and it would surprise me if it is one of those games where the Vikings just get beat down. So that being said, I don't think the Giants are good. I don't think the Vikings are good. I think the Vikings are fraud. I think they're both frauds. It's about the frauds. However, I think the Giants are the better frauds. And that being said, give me the Giants. I think Justin Jefferson has a terrible game, and the Giants will move on to the next round somehow, some way.
I'm gonna. I don't know. This is hard. This is a very hard game to predict. I'll probably have to go with the Vikings. I don't know. I kind of agree with Kendall. I think they're going to do just enough to pull it out and win by a field goal, I could even see them winning by one. It coming down to a missed extra point by the Giants or something like that.
That's just what the Vikings do.
Yeah, I feel like it's just going to be a crappy game. And
now let me ask you something, Big Rich.
What?
If you are in a similar playoff situation with your own team, who are you taking as your quarterback in this kind of game? Are you taking Kirk Cousins or are you taking Daniel Jones?
Is there a third option?
Yeah.
That's the funny. That's the thing. That's like who honestly would you take in this kind of situation?
I don't know. I really don't.
Has Daniel Jones ever made the playoffs? Have they ever been there? No. I don't think so.
They've never been fucking close.
I'd say probably Kirk by default.
Yeah.
Just because Daniel Jones ain't been there.
Give me Daniel Jones.
See, I agree. I'd take Daniel Jones.
I see what Kirk can do.
I can go either way. You could go either way.
I think Daniel Jones, when he is on, is a top 15 quarterback.
Okay.
But when he is off,
All right,
he is a bottom
still
10
there.
quarterback.
bottom
So
three.
therefore, him being when he is on, he is a top 10 quarterback at probably number 10. And when he is off, he is a bottom 10 quarterback, possibly even bottom 5 when he's really bad. Bottom 1.
Nah, 3.
2 is still there.
I'll say 3.
I think there's 3 worse quarterbacks than Daniel Jones, even by default.
Who?
I think 2 is worse.
I
think-
Oh,
No,
I wouldn't
no,
go
no,
that
no.
far.
I think
Well-
Carson Wentz is worse.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
There's
Okay.
no argument.
I'm thinking Russell
Deshaun
Wilson right now
Watson.
is arguably
No.
worse.
Russ is better. I know he's having a horrible year, but
Zach Wilson is worse.
yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah. There's
Um,
2.
I think he is the worst. Zach
Andy
Wilson.
Dalton is worse. I'm a Saints fan.
No,
I'll say that.
I'd rather
No.
have Andy.
I'd rather have Daniel Jones on the Saints right
Hey, we
fucking
can.
now.
Hey, it's
Make
fine.
that happen, Mickey Loomis. But moving on from that, I'm not going to quarrel against my own team right now. This game, Sunday night, Sunday Night Football,
Lamar's return.
from Lamar's return, Joe Burrow, the man who just this week was quoted as saying the Bengals winning window will always be open when he is around,
Hell yeah.
Joe motherfucking Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Was this a coin flip decided game on who was the home team?
No,
No,
So this
Bengals
is
won.
at
the Bengals
Cincinnati?
won.
Okay.
The Bengals won.
So this game's at Cincinnati, which, it's not like Cincinnati's a fucking, Seattle in terms of home field advantage. Like you're not saying, oh fuck, we got playing Cincy, but
You do now.
you do.
I think with all the injuries that's happening on that
Okay.
field, I think people are saying, "Oh fuck, we got to play Cincinnati." So.
Well, I mean, because of the crowd, it's not like we're playing in Kansas City or Seattle or even New Orleans. I think this game is going to be the low mark of Lamar's season. I think he's going to really struggle, have one of those career-defining games in a negative way, where he has a very rough game and he has 2 different paths, and a lot of questions get raised, and there's going to be a lot of adversity from Lamar, and he's going to have to prove a lot next year going into the season. I think the lack of wide receiver help hurts. I think Cincy's defensive line is going to be in his face if they can play contain. They've played this team twice already. They know what Lamar can do. They need to play contain, and they need to force someone else to beat them other than Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson, and I don't think there's a person on that team that can do it. And I honestly don't think, even with the Ravens having an improved secondary, their injuries, have been, on the defensive side at least, have been a lot less, and Roquan Smith's been playing really well. I just see Cincy coming in like a buzzsaw and just scoring drive after drive after drive. Maybe not 7 every time, but I think they're going to get at least 3 their first 3 to 4 possessions, and I don't think the Ravens are going to hold up.
I think I'm going to say Lamar has a down game, and I don't even think it's going to be his fault. I think the offensive line for the Ravens has progressively got worse since Lamar's been there. They just keep shipping people out, or people retire like Marshall Yonda early, or people get hurt. And then the running backs, there's a new running back for the Ravens every week between Gus Edwards, Kenyon Drake, J.K. Dobbins. They'll get Mark Ingram one year, Latavius Murray one year, Le'Veon Bell the next. They just rotate running backs like it's nothing because they can't stay healthy. And then they trade Marquise Brown. So then before that, they were calling Des Bryant out of retirement. They had Michael Crabtree, Seth Roberts. They are not. Ever since Lamar's MVP season, every single year since then, it has just gone downhill for his health. They just keep screwing him more and more for his health, and there's nothing he can do about it. And it's not like he has a big contract taking up cap space either. He's still in his rookie contract. Like he hasn't signed an extension. Yeah, they just work on the defense. They don't give him any help on offense. So besides Mark Andrews. He's the only one that stays. But I think Lamar struggles in this game, and again, I don't think it's his fault. I just think nobody gets open. They can't get the run game going. They double-team Mark Andrews, and I think that'll create – it's going to look bad on Lamar, and I think that'll create a lot of question marks. And I'm going to say it, I think this is going to be Lamar's last game as a Raven. I think this offseason the Ravens will franchise tag him and then trade him to somebody who will give them 2 first-round picks, and I think they'll take it. Two firsts, maybe a third on top of it. I don't know. Whatever his price is. I think there's a team out there willing to pay it for a former MVP. And I think the Bengals are just too hot. They started off 0-2, 0-3, something like that, and now they're 12-4.
Like
Yeah, and now they're 12-4. So that means they won 12 out of the last 14. They're just it seems like the last 2 years they hit stride. Once they hit stride, they're hard to beat. They're very hard to beat. So I think they defend home field, get a win, and this is Lamar's last game as a Raven.
Well, this one is going to be my lock of the week, and I'm actually taking the Ravens over the Bengals, and that stamp it lock of the week. I think everything as they're saying is valid. However, I think that Lamar is going to come out super motivated, not to play for the Ravens, but to play for the future contract that he's auditioning for. And I know we talked about Geno and contracts. I know contracts isn't like the end-all, be-all performance. But I think this is the game Lamar takes over and he shocks the world. And then we're going to come back to this video of me saying what I'm saying. And I'm like, that guy knows ball. Chase, he knows ball. And I'm going to look like the smartest guy in the world. So if you are a betting person, take the Ravens. Take an alternate spread. The Ravens are minus 10 points. I think the Ravens are going to surprise everybody. We're going to talk about it next week. I'm going to talk about it with a smile on my face. Now I think they get beat next week. But for this game right here, give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens.
I'm taking Joe Shiesty. Are they? I hope that they wide out this game because that would be dope.
Don't think they will.
Probably not, but
Usually
They're
don't
the
wear
home team.
alternates and usually don't wear alternates.
They'll either be
I know,
wearing
but-
orange on black or black on black.
God,
Yeah.
I wish they put black on black.
I think black on black would be
I wish
sick.
that they would do white on white. I just think that would be dope. But
They might do that when they go to Kansas City.
yeah.
Hey Chase, you got the lines pulled up for that game?
Yeah, Cincinnati minus 7.5.
What's the Ravens over under total?
I don't have the Ravens, but the game total is 42. So
That's a low.
math. So
That's low.
yeah,
That's 21 each.
yeah, they take those 7.5.
14.
So like 20. Fuck it. Who cares? Just fuck that.
I don't think that. I don't
know what the
Lamar played
Ravens. I don't know what the Ravens single team over under is, but I would bet the under.
good. I don't
Nah.
think that Lamar plays very well.
Nah.
I just don't know who he's going to throw the ball to.
Who cares? That guy's a stud.
He may run it. He may not have to throw it.
He ain't built to be running like that though. He ain't that far off injury.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm
Well,
saying because of his injury.
he's been sitting on the sideline with a smirk on his face, knowing what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. And let me tell you, that's going to happen. That's
It's
going
going
to
to be
happen.
cold in Cincy. He's going to take a couple shots from Trey Hendrickson. It's going to be hard to fucking run
I
that
don't
ball.
think this game's going to be a blowout by any means, but I do think the Bengals win.
I don't think either.
It'll be
I'd see it like
10-point game.
I'd see it like a 28-14, 28-17 kind of game.
I see it like a 2014, 2013.
But I don't see the Ravens scoring more than 24 points.
No, I don't either.
But I could very well see the Bengals scoring over 30.
Yeah, I think the Bengals can hang 30 on anybody any given Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, shit. You really look at it, that Bills game before everything happened, I mean,
They were rolling.
they were rolling. But moving on, my least favorite game of the week, Monday Night Football, Cowboys Buccaneers. I honestly could not give a fuck less about this game. I hate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think it's going to be a snooze fest. I have the Cowboys winning this game. I'm ready to hear all week long the can't count out Tom Brady in the playoffs, can't count out Tom Brady in the playoffs, can't count out Tom Brady in the playoffs. It's true. I get it. But Tampa Bay sucks. Are the Saints upside? I think the Saints could go out and put a better game together right now than Tampa Bay can. Especially after losing to the fucking Falcons. Jesus Christ. They are bad.
Well, I mean, they had their backups in.
I don't care. They suck. Tom is going to have Micah Parsons in his mouth all game long. And I think that's going to fuck with him. I have the Cowboys winning. I don't know. I would take the spread for the Cowboys. I don't know what it is. I bet it's like 10.5, 7.5.
2.
What?
2.5.
2.5. Oh, I'm hammering that, and I'm finding an alternative spread of more points, and I'm hammering that too.
Nah.
I'd alternative spread like 7 points, and I'd fucking hammer that shit.
Do you see what Dak did Sunday?
Yeah, but that was a fluke.
Nah,
He's been
it's
doing
not
it
a
all
fluke.
year.
Nah.
That game, I'm gonna be honest. Like,
Dak has
It
been
was a
doing
bad
that all
game.
year long. He sucks.
I think the Buccaneers suck worse.
You're going to tell me Tom Brady. You're counting him out. You're writing him
I'm
off.
not counting out
You're
Tom
writing
Brady.
him off.
I'm not counting out Tom Brady. I'm counting out the team around Tom Brady.
Tom Brady had the Patriots and he had freaking Julian Edelman as wide receiver 1.
Okay, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everything else. He had a great offensive line in New England. Their offensive line is hurt. Okay? The New England defense has always been solid when Tom was there.
The Bucs
Tampa Bay
defense,
they've underperformed.
who's to say that they can't go out there and just...
Yeah,
I mean,
but I'm also saying I'm going to take Micah Parsons in a front seven of the Cowboys over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers injury-riddled offensive line all day long. They can't run the fucking ball. Anyway, they don't try to, it seems like. They let Leonard on fucking halfback dive 10 times in a row. They get like 12 yards, and they're like, okay, start play action pass. It's just stylistically, I think these teams do not fit each other well. Let's be real. The Washington Commanders, they beat any team. They played the best teams in the league the best. They beat the Eagles. Okay? Let's be real. Hey, you had a team that was fighting for their life, and you had a team that was comfortable, and that's how they lost. But I do think the Cowboys are matchup wise, it's not even close.
Well,
I'm just going to go ahead and finish my little spill, if that's all right with y'all.
yeah, go for it.
Give me the Bucks by a field goal. Tom Brady's about to win number 8 or 7.
All right.
What the fuck? You're out of your mind.
Just
you
wait.
Rich.
Just wait. Chase wants to talk about how good of a bettor he is.
Go put money on the Tampa Bay Super Bowl odds
Okay.
because
Well-
you're going to lose some money.
I put $10 in it.
Can I go ahead and go now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh wait, hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay. Should I go now or should we let
Yeah,
Chase
go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll go for it.
Okay. Well, Wyatt, I know you don't want to hear it, but you can't count out Tom Brady. Not one bit.
I wasn't counting them out.
But I'm pointing to the fact that you started out your spill as I'm going to be prepared to listen to it all week. Can't count out Tom Brady. So that's why I wanted to say it. You can't count out Tom Brady. And I'm going to pick the Buccaneers to win this game. And it's not because I think they're a better team. I don't think they're a better team. I think the Cowboys are a better team by a lot. I'm picking the Buccaneers for two specific reasons. A is obviously Tom Brady. And B, it is because Tom Brady has never lost to the Cowboys in his career, and I don't think it starts this week. And C, I just thought of a third reason. The Cowboys seem to always find a way to lose in the playoffs.
So, on top of that, the Cowboys cannot like the past 2 weeks, could not run the ball. Period.
Tampa Bay does have
Yeah.
one of the best rush defenses in the league.
You're gonna put the ball in Dak's hands.
Yeah, that's basically
recipe
what you're
for
saying.
disaster. If you're finished talking, I have a
Go
have a
ahead.
rant.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Bucks in a low scoring game.
Nice. I'm gonna get this out of the way first. I don't know what's going on with my laptop or anything. Fucking sucks. So this episode, my fault. But I'm gonna get this out of the way. The Monday Night Football thing for Super Wildcard Weekend is stupid. Why are we putting people at a disadvantage? I know it's a Cowboys, so I could give a fuck less. But anyway, why are you putting teams at like a disadvantage to have like a short week if they win the wild card game? That's stupid. Absolutely stupid. Play 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday. Not hard. Unless they're already doing that, and
No,
okay, no, they're playing.
they're not.
Yeah, let's do 3 and 3. Why? Why not do that? And then the Cowboys have no shot.
Well, Chase cut out.
This.
Chase is cutting out.
Yeah, I think Chase is, talking to. I agree with Chase when he's talking about that.
Yep.
I think a lot of it.
Back again.
You're back.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it's rough.
Anyway. I think
Anyway,
a lot of it comes down to the Monday Night Football rights,
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, they could still do, before they did, like ESPN games on Saturday, because remember it was like that 1 year.
The Raiders and Chiefs game this past week was on Saturday, and it was the ESPN crew.
Yeah. Well, shit, then have that team play the next Monday,
Yeah. But finishing my statement, which you'll see half of it whenever this gets put up, because the recording thing. I don't like the Cowboys' chances because the simple fact that this is going to be a Dak game, and I believe Dak leads the league in like interception ratio. I can't remember what the ratio exactly is, but one of those interception stats. And I mean, he turns the ball over a lot, and he gets away with a lot of passes that should be interceptions as well. So I think Dak ultimately loses this game for the Cowboys. It's going to be one of the probably more boring games of the weekend, but
I'll probably watch this one.
Okay, I'm going to watch it, but I'm not going to enjoy it unless, of course, the Buccaneers win by 1 million.
All right. That is all the playoff games. I think that we're in store for a very, very interesting weekend. Time will tell if we're absolute jackasses that don't know what we're talking about, or we are fucking, as Chase likes to say, no ball.
I know ball.
Other than that, I don't think that we should just give a full playoff prediction. I think we should do it week by week, just because things can happen, players can go down.
Can we do like Super Bowl right now before any playoff games, like our Super Bowl?
Let's set this in stone. So this is your Super Bowl contenders. Or you know who's in the playoffs? AFC, NFC. Who you got? Be Rich. Who you got?
Like
if he
Super
says
Bowl
the
matchup,
Buccaneers, matchup and winner. Yeah.
Who is in the Super Bowl?
If he says,
well, he just said super teams that can make it to the Super Bowl. I was just about to say all of them can't, but
technically, yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Eagles and the Bills. I got the Bills winning that.
That's bullshit. But I respect your opinion.
The only reason I have the Eagles beating the 49ers is I don't think Brock Purdy will be able to handle that much pressure. I mean, I could be wrong, but
could be.
All right, Chase, what you got?
Oh, dude, you already know where I'm going with this. It's going to be the Eagles, and this is not me being a fan of the Eagles. This is me being 100% honest, Scouts honor, whatever that fucking thing is. I got the Eagles. Yep. And then I'm gonna take the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to do it. It's gonna be Andy Reid versus his old team in Super Bowl, and I think the Eagles squeak this one out. Like I'm talking about like 24-21. By the way, no bias whatsoever. Just thought I'd reiterate that.
Are we doing scores too? Because if we are,
I just
No.
sprinkled that
Nah.
bad boy in.
Kendall.
Okay, just real quick, since I never got to explain from earlier. I'm picking the Chargers to beat the Jags, even though I'm rooting for the Jags, because I also have the Chargers beating the Chiefs in the next round because it's a divisional game and the Chargers always play the Chiefs well. So I was creating a Joe Burrow versus Herbert, same draft class, AFC Championship. That's a good storyline. That's what I was creating. But anyway, my Super Bowl is the Cincinnati Bengals versus the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, that's horse shit. Get the fuck out of here.
And I
Chase is not
and
happy.
I have Joe Burrow winning his first championship, his first NFL championship.
Oh, I thought you said Brock Purdy for a second. I was like, no, fuck.
No,
Here we
Joe
go.
Burrow.
Here, I've said one in the group chat in the past, but to my guys that are in the group chat, this is my official prediction. I'm not going to side away from this prediction.
You made the list, by the way.
In NFC, I think that the NFC Championship, in my opinion, is going to be the 49ers and the Eagles. And I think that the Eagles' constant defensive line pressure, their front seven being as good as they are, I think it's going to force Brock Purdy to make a lot of mistakes. So I think I'm going to have the Eagles out of the NFC. I think personally, just with everything that's happened, I want the Bills to go to the Super Bowl, even over my boy Joe Burrow, just for DeMar Hamlin. They've had a lot of other stuff go on this season too. They faced a lot of adversity this season, and I think adversity. I think all of us playing team sports would agree. Adversity at any level brings a team together more than normal.
Look at the Raiders last year.
Yeah. Adversity rallies a team together, and that's what you really need this time of year. I think it's going to be the Bills and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. But I will say I have who do I have win the Super Bowl? I think I'm going to take the Bills to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, my.
So I think it's going to be close, though.
That would be cool to see the Bills do it for DeMar.
And other than that, I was this close to saying the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think if the Cincinnati Bengals go back to the Super Bowl, I don't care who they play, I think the Bengals will win the Super Bowl if they get there.
Yeah. Got to say something?
Yep.
This is totally off topic. Wyatt, I think your opinions are irrelevant after watching what you did tonight. 2 damn wings.
I don't want to hear it.
For those who don't know, our fantasy football league, Mr. Hydro over here to my right, he lost last year and still never did his punishment in our league, which is the Blazing Challenge at B-Dubs. And Mr. Beerich down here below me, he lost this year. So they did the Blazing Challenge tonight together. Wyatt took 2 or 3 bites of a wing and called it a day and started drinking.
I finished that wing.
He finished the wing. He did finish the wing.
Whatever. I was going to exaggerate. He finished one. Congrats to Wyatt. He started chugging chocolate milk and Pepto-Bismol and had to go to the bathroom 4 times that night. Brandon, on the other hand, he gave a valiant effort for 4.5 minutes of the 5 minutes. He was trying. He was genuinely trying. He was locked in, focused, head down. He didn't even know that the whole restaurant was circled around us watching and pulling for Brandon to do it. He did not know. We had to tell him that after. And after Brandon did it, there was kind of a standing ovation for him. So Brandon, you did great.
You would have thought I was about to just go run through like 10 brick walls before.
Oh yeah, Brandon was laser fucking focused.
I took the sweatshirt off and everything. Yeah. It was gonna get hot.
Fuck that! I made a business decision.
After the challenge, I did eat one. I just wanted to see how hot it was. Broke that shit apart, looking the whole thing, and it wasn't that bad for about 20 seconds. And then all of a sudden, my lips are on fire. And it wasn't that bad though. Like half of a cup of water, and I didn't even feel anything.
I recommend to the few people that watch this to try it. I do. 18 or older, or if you're younger and somehow watching this, just get your mom or dad to sign a piece of paper, sign your life away.
There you go.
Okay, so
Wait. So I missed it because obviously I'm going through some shit right now. Who'd you pick Super Bowl?
my Super Bowl pick was the Eagles out of the NFC,
Okay.
the Bills out of the AFC for DeMar Hamlin. Varsity brings the team together. And I have the Bills beating the Eagles in the Super Bowl. But I will say, I did say this while you were away. I was very close to picking the Bengals, and if the Bengals do make the Super Bowl, the Bengals will win the Super Bowl, in my opinion. No matter who they play. I think the Bills and the Bengals are the two most dangerous teams to play in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna have to play second round.
Yep. That's my AFC championship.
I think we're forgetting how good the Eagles actually are. I think we kind of let the whole Gardner.
I think they're very good. I just picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
No,
they're going to be. They're in my NFC championship.
I have them going to the whole. I have them winning the NFC.
I'm the only one that
I
didn't
also
pick
said
them
it was
to
a
at least
close
go to the
game
Super
in the
Bowl. I
Super
picked them
Bowl.
to go to the NFC championship.
Yeah, fuck off.
But moving on from that, we can have this debate a little bit further in our playoff team tier list. We'll let Chase share his screen.
Hey,
hopefully
man.
he doesn't. Hopefully you don't leave or
We'll see how
black
fucking
out.
long this lasts.
See how long it lasts. But we're going to hope for the best here. As you can see, we have all the teams that are in the playoffs on the bottom here, and we're going to go through them individually and kind of sort them out. So, first off, Baltimore Ravens. But before we do that, we have very confident to win the Super Bowl, somewhat confident, modest, cautiously optimistic, and then zero chance. What are we thinking about the Ravens here?
I think strictly because Lamar's back, their savior and their hero. It's cautiously optimistic.
I agree. If Lamar wasn't back, then I would put that below the zero chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like cautiously optimistic as well. The Bills, I'm very confident in.
Bills are very confident. I think there's 5 very confident teams, by the way.
I think the Bengals are also very confident.
Very, very confident, yes.
Very confident.
Can we be honest and just put them right here? Because the history.
Yeah.
I was legit going to say cautiously optimistic because of the matchup they got. They got to play the Bucs.
Yeah, I was cautiously optimistic was the highest I was willing to put them.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Fine.
The Jags, I think, are zero chance.
To win the Super Bowl, yeah, zero chance.
Yeah.
Too young.
The Chiefs are very confident.
Very confident.
Boom, bitch. Zero chance.
Zero chance. The Vikings, I think, are.
Okay, I think it depends on who you talk to. I'd probably say
modest.
Us is probably modest. Yeah, like to us, they're probably modest. But I think there's probably a lot of media members out there that would probably say somewhat confident. But I think it's modest.
Yeah, there's no way you can be confident in a team that's what's the record? 13-4 or
12 and
5?
13 and 4, 12 and 5.
Anyway, they have a negative point differential. That means they're getting blown the fuck out, and they're squeaking by. So,
I know. To specifically reference what I'm talking about, I seen RG3 say he was like, he actually mentioned that. He was like, everybody's talking about how the Vikings only win one-score games, and he said that's what the playoffs are. They're one-score games, and they're the best team at doing it. So how are they not contenders? That's what I heard him say.
That guy fucking sucks.
Okay. All right. Giants, I think, have zero chance.
Zero
the
freaking
just stacked.
There's no
the NFC.
The Eagles zero
confidence.
They're a tier below zero chance.
That's
I think
it's ridiculous.
I think the 49ers, personally, are somewhat confident based on the play of Brock Purdy.
I was going to say they're very confident. That was going to be my 5th team. But if y'all want to do somewhat confident, that's perfectly fine with me.
I would say just somewhat confident just because, you don't know how Brock Purdy is going to play. With it being his first playoff, he's going to have the nerves and jitters.
I think at the end of the day, he's the 7th round draft pick. I think that this team is a tiny bit overrated based on. I mean, they have a nice win streak going. Yes, their defense is nice. Yes, I think they're a tiny bit overrated though. So I'm cool with putting somewhat confident, but I mean, I think the majority of us are putting somewhat confident. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
that's fine. Bucks,
Modest.
I'm saying modest. I don't care about the record. I'm saying modest.
Modest.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's TB12.
You have Tom Brady, you're at least modest.
The Seahawks, no
let's-
chance.
No chance for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And I'd
But,
say,
you know, if he goes to Super Bowl, that contract is going to be
He's
nice.
going to get a
gonna be
big
real
boy
nice.
bag. He's going to get a biggie bag.
Chargers,
I
I would
think-
do casually optimistic.
I was going to say the same thing. I think casually optimistic because
It's
the Chargers,
cautiously optimistic.
the
by way.
Chargers on paper have a great roster. It's just they have to be cautious about it because they're just now starting to get somewhat healthy.
Casually optimistic.
Oh, did I say casually? Did I say
You
casually?
and B Rich both did.
Oh,
B Rich
whoops.
said it, and then you
We're
said it.
casually optimistic.
We're casually
Oh,
optimistic.
you know,
We're
that's
just
pretty much
vibing.
the same thing.
Suave. Yeah, that's it. I get it.
But there we go. Screenshot that.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
you wish. Preseason rankings, maybe, but golly.
Hey, next year when we get Tom Brady, that's what it's going to be.
Here we fucking go. You know what? I'm gonna let you save that for the mixtape when you talk about that tomfoolery. But other than that, I think that is all we have for tonight's episode of Hydro and Co. episode 25.
Hey, baseball's on the way.
Yes,
Baseball sure is on the way, Brandon.
we
That's
will be
right.
talking. We will be talking about baseball here pretty soon. I think what we're really going to do is here in the next couple weeks, when football kind of slows down mid-playoff, especially around the Pro Bowl, talk about, first of all, we're going to have to recap free agency. That's a whole can of worms in itself.
Carlos Gray is going to be a good 2-hour
Yeah.
long segment.
Carlos Craig going to be
Golly.
on the Twins by the time we get to that? I mean,
How many more teams will he sign with between now and middle of February, or middle of January?
guess that player. The Astros to the Twins to the Giants to the Mets to the Twins.
I don't know what we're talking about, but
But we're going to be talking about a lot of baseball. Really, I think we'll take some time to really talk about free agency a little bit. I mean, any person that watches this podcast has probably seen enough of the free agent talk to where we're not going to go in depth about it. You've seen the news. A lot of it's older news. I think me, Kendall, and Beard personally will talk a little bit more about our specific teams, talking about where we see our teams coming in this 2023 season. Me and Kendall being both fans of teams in the AL East, that should be interesting. But really just starting the year off fresh, coming back to baseball, which was what we started with towards
You have
the middle of
Chase.
baseball season.
Chase can talk about the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, Chase.
yeah.
Chase is coming along. Chase is
Yeah,
coming along for
yeah.
the ride with us.
Yeah.
We also have some things in the works as football season starts to progress and get more on the back burner. We might be switching out or adding a baseball specific show onto the podcast channel. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for the 81 Super Bowl mixtape. It usually comes out every Friday. So be on the lookout for that each week. Thank you guys so much for all the views and the likes on our clips that we've been doing. You can catch those in all the playlists. We have them all separated by playlists now. Fuck the Raiders.
Fuck you, motherfucker.
But just
Saints are ass.
keep interacting with the channels. We have a lot of content coming at you guys every single week, and we really appreciate you guys
The GOAT.
being fans of it. B Rich is so excited to talk about baseball because then he will be the third most informed member of something instead of the last informed.
I'll probably be
Of
the
another
first
sport.
with your
I'll take that
idiotic
role.
opinions.
Actually, I will say B Rich probably knows the most about baseball out of all of us.
Me and
The
Kendall are
Cubs
pretty-
overpaid.
I'll probably take the
That's
third spot on
overpaid.
that.
For
I
Dansby
really only
Swanson.
Oh, yeah.
I really only think about my Yankees, and everybody else can fucking lose.
Aaron Judge
160
to the
games.
Giants.
I'm not getting enough credit here.
I said you were two.
1A, 1B.
I'll be 4.
Yeah.
Aaron
Man.
Judge is a Yankee for life. The captain, the hero, the man in my heart, number 99. All rise, the captain.
All I know is me and Barrett are a better battery than the Yankees have ever seen.
Yeah.
All right, you ever seen like Andy Pettit and Jorge Posada? But
Like I said,
Seen Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina, have you, bud?
you've never seen Brandon Richards and Kendall fucking Tinsman, have you?
No,
you
he
haven't.
hasn't.
hey, here we. I can't wait to hear this shit. You can't talk about Yachty that much after the first fucking episode. His ass is retired.
I can talk about Yadier Molina
on.
however much I want to, bud.
Talk about fucking
What?
Wilson Contreras now.
What?
Or fucking Kisner.
What?
Yachty.
Okay. But just be on the lookout for be on the lookout for 4 things with baseball. Well, number 1, Chase will not know most anything.
He's going to learn. He is
but
going
he will
to
learn
he's
with
gonna
us,
be me.
and it will be.
He's gonna
it
be
will
learning.
And I challenge you to watch the progression because I think it will be a great progression. For
I think
Chase.
it will. He's already
Um,
texted me in the group. I'm
2.
going to take Chase under my wing.
Number
I
2,
love being under wings.
B Rich will
wings.
still talk more about Waino and Yachty than the rest of the Cardinals roster, even though half of that group is retired. And the other version is on the verge of retirement, but he will talk about those 2 in the past more than he will talk about the current Cardinals.
No,
Mark
I'll
that
talk
one
about
down.
I will talk about the current Cardinals a lot.
Number 3, Kendall will continuously be let down by the Orioles organization because they refuse to call their prospects up out of the minor leagues when
Dude,
they should. And
I
they
was
wait
let down
until
last year.
fucking September.
I was very pleased last year. Only time I got let down was when we traded Trey for no reason.
No, you got let down because fucking half all your good prospects sat in the minors until like mid August.
Dude, I thought we were going to win like 50 games last year. We had a winning record.
I'm just saying that the Orioles continuously they stash their minor league players too long.
Hey, you can
And-
say what you want. We run the East this year, okay? You
And
might as well
number
just
4
get prepared for it.
And number 4, you will hear me constantly complain about Aaron Boone and his coaching decisions.
You complain about every team, every coach, every player, every piece of grass on the field of your favorite teams.
I love certain bits of the New York Yankees, and I hate other bits. But that being said, 25th episode of Hydro and Co. Guys, we're 1/4 the way to 100. That's going to be crazy.
Wow.
Be crazy to see here by the end of the year. We might be at 100 episodes. Who knows? 100 total episodes.
There's no possible way. We do it one time a week, and there's 52
No.
weeks in the year.
I'm saying in terms of total clips, we
Man.
might surpass 100 total YouTube videos.
I mean,
Yeah.
But you watching us now, you're watching us at the very bottom of where we're going to be, and we're only going to go up from here. So we appreciate you guys, especially if you've made it through this ridiculous last 10 minutes of this podcast. Put that shit away. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.
I don't have anything.
Go Cards.
Yo,
Go
Yankees.
O's. Raider Nation.
Hey,
Greatest
Go
battery of
Birds.
all time.